I heard the words before I registered them. "Look at you," she said, sharp and deliberate, her voice slicing across the table. "You really think you belong here?" My fork paused midair. My mother's eyes widened. My father's jaw tightened. The girl, my wife's daughter, sat back, smug, as if she'd drawn a sword and aimed it straight at me. The laughter that followed was not natural. It was calculated, precise, designed to sting. And then my wife spoke. Her voice was soft, almost casual, poison wrapped in sugar. "She's not your daughter," she said, and I could feel the words like ice against my chest. "Don't correct her." I smiled, not out of amusement but control. Everyone else went on, oblivious. Conversations continued. Glasses clinked. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. But inside, the calm was deceptive. Beneath it, a storm was forming, slow, methodical, lethal in its patience. Later, alone in the quiet of the study, I replayed the scene over and over. Her expression, the subtle curl of my wife's lips, the deliberate humiliation layered with impunity. It didn't make sense at first. Was it disrespect? A child testing limits? Or something darker? I watched them both over the next hours, careful, calculating. Every gesture, every word catalogued and analyzed. I noticed the pauses, the micro-expressions, the tiny tells of someone hiding satisfaction in another's discomfort. By nightfall, I had a plan forming. Observation first. Collection of details. Knowledge as ammunition. My calm exterior masked the cold precision building inside. I checked my phone. Emails from the university. Texts left unchecked. Small things that might reveal cracks. Every detail mattered. Nothing could be left to chance. Sleep came reluctantly, fragmented by thought loops. I imagined subtle moves, cancelled registrations, revoked privileges. Not out of anger. Out of strategy. Every action measured. Every response anticipated. By morning, I wore the same mask of normalcy. Coffee poured, polite exchanges made, the world ignorant of the storm simmering beneath my surface. Yet I noticed everything. A smirk barely hidden. A hesitation before a text was answered. The way she assumed power, unaware it could slip through her fingers like sand. I didn't act. Not yet. Patience is sharper than rage. Precision is colder than violence. And when the time came, they would feel the weight of what they had tried to hide. Not with screams, not with chaos, but with quiet inevitability. Because a storm doesn't announce itself. It waits. And I was the storm. The day began with silence. I moved through the house as if nothing had happened. My wife chatted casually, her laughter light, forced. The girl strutted past, assuming her triumph, unaware that every smirk, every glance was being recorded in my mind. I didn't speak. I didn't confront. Observation was the weapon now. Every step she took, every message she sent, every careless assumption, they all became pieces of a puzzle. The university registration caught my attention first. A simple call, a routine verification disguised as concern. The clerk confirmed what I suspected. Her name on files, her courses paid. Yet one discrepancy emerged, subtle but significant. I filed it away. Small cracks would grow into fractures. Then the car, the lease, another assumption of ownership. I made a quiet call. A shift in registration, invisible to her, but devastating in its quiet precision. A subtle reminder that control is never given. It is taken. I observed my wife in parallel. Not her words, but her hesitation. Micro-expressions slip when guilt presses close. A twitch of the lip. A breath held too long. A quick glance to see if I noticed. I noticed, always. Emails, receipts, forgotten notes. Each detail insignificant alone. But together they painted a narrative. A narrative of deceit, of manipulation, of silent humiliation crafted meticulously over time. I rehearsed in my mind every scenario, every possible reaction. Calm, measured, controlled. Not rage, not impulsive action. Patience is sharper than anger. Knowledge is the knife that cuts clean. Night came and I reviewed what I had collected. The documents, the anomalies, the hints. They aligned. Slowly, inexorably, the truth revealed itself. She was not who she claimed to be. Not the innocent girl, not the entitled child. A construct. A lie allowed, encouraged, orchestrated by the one who should have protected me. I didn't smile. Not yet. But I felt the power settle in my chest. Quiet. Cold. Absolute. And then, in the darkness of the night, I planned the first move. The smallest step, imperceptible to them, but a tremor through their assumed reality. By morning, I moved with the same calm, polite exterior. Coffee poured, casual smiles exchanged, everything normal. And yet, beneath the veneer, the storm had already begun. Because they would soon learn, control is never truly theirs. Every arrogance, every attempt to belittle, every manipulation, they all existed within the boundaries I allowed. Boundaries I could erase. I didn't speak. I didn't act yet. I waited. I watched. I collected. And when I struck, it would be inevitable. Because revenge doesn't shout, it whispers. And I had become the whisper. The confirmation arrived quietly, like a letter sliding under a door. DNA results, documents, receipts. Every piece aligned perfectly, forming a truth I had suspected, half imagined but now could no longer deny. She was not my wife's daughter. She had never been. A fabrication constructed to humiliate, to manipulate, to assert invisible control. I held the evidence in my hands, calm, cold, and terrifyingly composed. There was no anger here, only inevitability. At dinner, I slid the envelope across the table. No words, just a gesture. My wife's eyes flicked to it, and I saw her pulse quicken. The girl's smirk faltered. Tiny shifts, almost imperceptible, but I noticed. I waited. Finally, my wife spoke. Her voice, usually smooth and confident, quivered. What is this? I smiled lightly. Not cruelly, not angrily, just measured. You know what it is, I said. Everything you've hidden, every lie, every attempt to humiliate me. It's here, all of it. Her face paled. The carefully constructed facade cracked. She searched my eyes for mercy. Found none. The girl's arrogance evaporated. Her lips parted, then closed. Silence. The air thickened. I could feel the weight of their shame pressing against me. Deliciously quiet. I didn't shout. I didn't scream. I didn't need to. The truth itself was the executioner. I watched them both unravel in silence. Every lie exposed. Every manipulation meaningless. Every tiny power they thought they held, gone. Then I moved to the next step. Not violence, not chaos. I simply acted. The university registration, cancelled. The car lease, reassigned. Every small privilege, every assumed right, they evaporated quietly. Subtle, precise, irreversible. Control reclaimed without spectacle, without melodrama. No, please, no excuses. Just reality. Their constructed world dismantled by the calmest hand in the room. I left the house that night and didn't return. My mind was clear. No bitterness, no longing, only a quiet satisfaction. A recognition that I had done what was necessary. The whisper of revenge had passed through, and they had felt it. I walked away, carrying nothing but clarity. They would speak of me later, perhaps with fear, perhaps with resentment, perhaps in disbelief. It didn't matter. I didn't exist in their world anymore. Not as victim, not as husband, only as the architect of truth. I was free, and they were left with the weight of their own lies. I smiled once more, cold, calculated, final.